Chief John Smith, also known as Gaa-binagwiiyaas, the one whose flesh peels off, was a Ojibwe Indian, a shaman who lived in Cass Lake, Minnesota, and was considered a long river. At the time of his death, according to him, he was 138 years old. It is believed that John Smith was born in 1784 on the territory of Cass Lake in Minnesota. The Indian himself did not remember the exact date of his birth. Federal Commissioner of Indian Reservations Ransom Powell claims that it was not age but illness that made him look so old. He also noted that, according to records, John Smith was 88 years old. Local resident Paul Buffalo, when he was a young boy, met John Smith, and he told him that he was about 7 to 10 years old when the stars fell. The falling of the stars refers to the Leonid meteor shower of November 13, 1833, which was described by a local historian Carl Zepp. The American skies were literally on fire on the eve of dawn of November 13, frightening both civilized and uncivilized peoples. It was obviously the end of the world for the Indians. The surviving chronicles say that John Smith suffered an illness that caused his skis to crack. The locals called him by various names, the most common of which were Gaa-binagwiiyaas, wrinkled meat, and Gaa-binagwiiyaas, one whose flesh is peeling off. The whites called him Old Indian. John Smith was a simple fisherman. He moved around a lot, loved to walk, and often left home for weeks at a time, taking a traveling bag, a staff, and a pipe with him. By the way, the Old Indian smoked a pipe all his life. A year before his death, he became completely blind, but his mind remained clear until his last days. He often recalls the time when he was a Ojibwe scout in the wars with the Sioux tribes. He also remembered the events of the War of 1812. He says that he had never fought against a white man. John Smith witnessed the launch of the first steam locomotive, which he rode for free. Later he made all the trains, sold postcards and photographs with his image on them. He visited a big city for the first time 4 years before his death. He came to Minneapolis and later visited the Chicago Auto Show. They say that he was respected. Everyone invited John Smith to drink tea, sit and talk, and if he needed to cross the river or get somewhere else by other means of transportation, few people charged him a fare. He was repeatedly asked to become a chief, but he refused, preferring to be free. But he did give advice to the chiefs from time to time. John Smith was married 8 times. His last wife was almost 100 years younger than him. He had no children on his own, but he did have an adopted son, Tom.